Red Bull was already ahead. Now they might have just widened the gap before the season has even started. With only days to go before the Australian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen and Laurent Mekies have revealed that the RB22 is arriving in Melbourne with a major upgrade package. And internal estimates suggest the gain could be close to half a second per lap. Half a second. At race 1. We are talking about redesigned side pods that increase rear downforce by around 15%. A completely new front wing to fix slow corner rotation. A diffuser extension boosting traction onto the main straight. And a Ford Power Unit running 12 degrees cooler, with zero energy clipping at top speed. That means sustained deployment. Lap after lap. No drop-off. Leaked long-run data already showed Red Bull roughly 4/10 faster than Ferrari in race simulations. And that was before this Spec 1.1 evolution. If these upgrades perform exactly as projected, Australia may not be a fight. It may be a message. And the most shocking detail, the one that has rival engineers studying every frame, is not just the aerodynamic gain. It is how the Ford engine and Aero package are now working together as one system. Stay with me. Because Melbourne might not just open the season. It might redefine it. So let's start with what Red Bull was really doing in Bahrain. Because on the surface, it looked controlled. Almost quiet. Verstappen did not go chasing a headline lap. There were no dramatic low-fuel glory runs. But underneath that calm approach, the numbers were alarming. Red Bull completed more than 2,000 laps during testing. Zero major mechanical failures. That is not just preparation. That is dominance built on stability. And here is where it becomes uncomfortable for everyone else. Leaked race simulations suggested the RB22 was roughly 4/10 per lap faster than Ferrari over long stints. 4/10. Over a full race distance, that turns into strategic control. You choose when to push. You choose when to pit. You control the tempo. But the real shock was not just lap time. It was thermal efficiency. The Ford Power Unit reportedly ran around 12 degrees cooler than expected under sustained load. That means less stress. Less overheating. More consistent hybrid deployment. And no energy clipping at the end of long straights. Think about that. While others may need to lift and coast late in a straight, Red Bull keeps deploying. Keeps attacking. Keeps defending. Now imagine that baseline performance before upgrades. Because Verstappen hinted that balance still was not perfect. He mentioned slow corner awkwardness. He mentioned tire sensitivity if pushed too aggressively. Those are small cracks. But small cracks matter in Melbourne. Turn 1. Turn 3. Heavy braking. Sharp rotation. Immediate traction. If the front does not bite cleanly, you lose time all the way down the next straight. And this is exactly what the new front wing is designed to fix. A completely revised mainplane geometry. Sharper response on turn-in. More authority in low-speed corners. That alone could unlock performance that was already hidden. But here is the bigger picture. When a team completes record mileage, runs cooler than expected, shows superior race pace, and still admits there is more to unlock, that is not vulnerability. That is potential. Australia is days away. And the RB22 is not arriving as a mystery. It is arriving as a refined weapon. But the next layer of upgrades is where things move from impressive to intimidating. Because the aerodynamic evolution at the rear might be the piece that transforms long-run superiority into complete control. Now we move to the rear of the RB22. Because this is where Red Bull stopped refining and started engineering leverage. The headline piece is the side pod's blown diffuser version 2. At first glance, it looks like a deeper undercut. A slightly more aggressive inlet shape. But what matters is what you do not immediately see. The airflow is being redirected more efficiently toward the floor and diffuser. Hot air from the Ford Power Unit is not just being expelled. It is being used. Energizing the diffuser. Increasing rear downforce without increasing drag. That is the key. Because downforce usually comes at a cost. More grip. More resistance. But this system is designed to minimize the trade-off. Estimates suggest around 0.2 gained in medium speed corners alone. In Melbourne, that is Sector 2. The flowing section. The part of the lap where stability creates rhythm. And rhythm creates tire life. But this is where it connects to something deeper. When rear downforce increases in a controlled way, throttle application becomes smoother. Smoother throttle means less rear tire overheating. Less overheating means degradation stays low. And we already saw long runs in Bahrain where degradation was roughly 1/10 per lap. That is already best in class. Now imagine that with improved rear stability. It becomes suffocating for rivals. Then there is the diffuser extension at the rear crash structure. A small structural tweak, but aerodynamically meaningful. It improves airflow expansion at corner exit. More traction. More confidence when applying power. That matters out of turn 15 in Melbourne. Because that exit dictates your top speed into turn 1. And here is where the system becomes synchronized. The cooler Ford engine allows sustained deployment. Sustained deployment increases straight line pressure. Improved traction out of slow corners amplifies that advantage. Better airflow stability keeps tire temperatures under control. Everything feeds everything. It is not a single upgrade. It is a platform adjustment. And that is what makes this dangerous. But there are still variables. Tire sensitivity remains a factor if Verstappen pushes aggressively early in a stint. Hydraulic reliability had a minor scare in testing. Melbourne's street surface can expose mechanical weakness instantly. So this is not invincible. It is optimized. And optimization at this level is often enough. Now imagine the scenario. Qualifying is close. Margins are tight. Red Bull starts near the front. Then Sunday arrives. Heat builds. Other cars begin to clip energy. Rear tires start fading. But the RB22 remains stable. Cooler. Consistent. Lap after lap. The gap grows slowly. Not dramatically. Just relentlessly. That is how dominance begins. Not with chaos. With control. And with only days left before lights out in Australia, the biggest question is no longer whether Red Bull improved. It is whether anyone improved enough to respond. Because if this rear architecture performs exactly as simulations suggest, Melbourne will not just start the season. It will send a message to the entire grid.